Good morning and happy Thanksgiving, guys. So, if you are here looking for a Hallmark holiday, I think that you have come to the very wrong location. Today, on this Thanksgiving morning, my friends, we are talking about turkey fails, Thanksgiving disasters, and some really good things, some warm, lovely, and tasty things that transpire on Thanksgiving. Hey, Susan, I hear it is raining in New York City. Oh my God, Susan, are you on the ground outside of the Thanksgiving Day parade? What in the world is going to happen? Now, guys, tell me, I have a new mic set up today. How's my sound? Jason Smith, let me know. Okay, guys, let's do it. Let's talk about Thanksgiving and let's do this in kind of an irreverent, snarky way because so many of us have huge expectations on the holidays or years of trauma from bad Thanksgiving days, or for some, the holiday lands, I don't know, not as softly as it might. So, guys, let's do it. What I want to show you here is, I'll do it like I did before. Here is a map. I did not make this map. Here is a map, and this is listing the most hated dishes in the various states. So that is why you see turkey at the top. Turkey is apparently disliked up in Maine, and also it looks to be disliked in Idaho and Oregon. Who knew? Who knew? I'm shocked to hear that cranberry sauce is disliked here on the East Coast and in Michigan. I'm here in Massachusetts for the weekend, Florida and Texas, and so on. Who knew? The idea that anyone would dislike stuffing, I think that should be a capital offense. I understand that throughout, you can sort of see why green bean casserole is disliked. It's probably disliked in the places where it's served too much. And also, of course, pumpkin pie. You know what? Is that upstate New York? I can't quite figure that out. No, I'm sorry. That's in Pennsylvania. What is wrong with the people of Pennsylvania that they don't like pumpkin pie? Well, now that we've taken care of that, for me, I have to confess, I don't know if you ever get sucked into certain kind of YouTube videos. Sometimes I try to study sort of instinctively the things I watch and why, you ask yourself, why do 30 million people on YouTube want to watch some guy who's speaking in a foreign language? I mean, I think this was in Spanish, so I might have been able to understand it. There was a doctor in, I think, Mexico, speaking Spanish, removing what looked to be a little wart between a man's big toe and second toe on the inside of this. I know that you must have seen this. And it turns out it wasn't a little wart, it was this little bump. And you just watch, it's like for 20 minutes, you watch this surgeon work around this little thing and remove it. And it turns out it's just a tiny little larvae. I know this is disgusting. It's Thanksgiving. Welcome to my Thanksgiving show. It is itself a Thanksgiving fail. Anyway, so the point of this is, for like 20 minutes, you'll sit there and you just can't stop watching. And it's almost like it's your own foot and you would watch like a hawk to try to get this thing out of your foot if it were you, the doctor doing this. I can't under explain otherwise why like 30 million people have watched it or more, and also why I could not stop. I had to watch to the end. So I guess this is what I'm going to get to, why every Thanksgiving I personally cannot get enough of people dropping frozen turkeys into hot oil and watching them explode. And no, I am not sadistic. I don't want people to actually injure themselves. I'm speaking mostly of all the fire departments who go out and do the demos telling you, do not drop a frozen turkey into hot oil. Now, apparently, deep fried turkeys are delish. I am not a meat eater. I sometimes eat fish, so I have not had actual turkey. I'm thinking I probably have not had actual turkey in 20 years. That's for sure. The last time was probably November of 2004. Not to be exact. However, I'm sure it's delicious. Not frozen, deep fried because it's pretty dry and not really satisfying otherwise. For me, I've always believed that the perfect Thanksgiving food is just some stuffing with a little mashed potato, some gravy, and a dollop of cranberry sauce, and yum, right? Like just that. And then, of course, I don't want to get into fights about whether apple or pumpkin pie because I say, why not both? So let me share with you why I love these videos, and maybe you'll get hooked too. I'm going to show you several of them. So there's a question. What happens if you deep fry a frozen turkey? And this is from a scientist who says this is something, he said, okay, Ethan Siegel, it's that time of year, once again, when 46 million turkeys are about to be cooked. Okay, so 46 million turkeys are about to be cooked, not all deep fried, right? And 1,000 home fires are anticipated. Don't be one of them, and especially do not deep fry a turkey. Oh my God, huckleberry pie, pecan pie, yum. Susan, you are a vegetarian. Wait till you see. I'm going to show you an incredible vegetarian dish that we made back in the fall of 2017. Hold on, Susan. Okay, so are you all ready? Are you really ready to watch what will happen if you deep fry a turkey? So fortunately, we have videos that were made by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. This is not in someone's home. And I would like to show you, but it is demonstrated on a porch. So some people think, okay, obviously, let me just say this. It's bad enough to drop a frozen turkey into hot oil, but should you do it inside of your home, it brings it to that next level of disaster. So this is this is a demo of the Consumer Product Safety Commission of a deep fry disaster. Join me. I think this is, I enjoy these so much. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. Okay, they're going to show you more of these. These are really good. Always fry away from your home, never on the porch or inside a garage. Okay, so I have more, right? This is the warning video. But I really think that if I were a firefighter, my favorite day of the year would be the day that we get to drop a frozen turkey into hot oil. I am not a pyromaniac. I swear to you. I swear to you. Let's watch another demo. This is another Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC turkey. I know. Okay, I'm crazy. Okay, so there are only a couple more of these. Again, there are different methods for demonstrating this. I feel like the Carmel Fire Department, I like their method in Carmel, California, because they put in real effort here. They had a dummy so they could actually see. You could imagine, here's dad or here's you with this. Okay, let's play this one. Look at this. And you don't even need sound for this one. Okay, right? Turkey dropped. Look at this. I mean, just the slow-mo of this and just engulfed in flames. Okay. I feel like these are important to share because of the danger involved and people thinking, if enough people see these and your crazy cousin's like, I'm going to deep fry a turkey this year. And everybody's like, yum. And no one's done it. Every generation, my friends, every generation needs to be rewarned about the dangers of deep frying frozen turkeys and apparently the dangers of fascism. Right? There you go. Okay. Now let's put this, try not to be political today, but you got that one. And here's my last demo. Don't worry. There's more than fires today. Here's another demo of a fire department and their frozen turkey fiasco. Okay, here we go.
No, go set it because we can't wait because it's got a safety on it that's going to shut it off. So we got to get this thing going.
Okay, this is a Chicago Fire Department. I love it. It's the drop. It's like the drop. Yes. The sound of the fire is very satisfying. Okay. And they put out the fire. Now, I don't know what was in that hose to put out the fire. Is that water on grease? I'm not going to criticize the Chicago Fire Department. Anyway, you get the idea. And what I'm seeing in the chat, Susan Thompson said that, I'm going to read her this. Susan Thompson said, my sister did the same thing, deep frying a turkey many years ago. Turkey caught fire in the minute it dropped into the oil. Lucky it was outside. I mean, I think people know better now. I think when this sort of novelty of deep frying turkeys came into vogue, there wasn't necessarily as much access to the internet. People did not know the dangers. I think that we are at that place now. I got a few more turkey Thanksgiving mix-up. So this is Molly Brady. She's a law professor at Harvard. I saw this yesterday on Blue Sky. So here's some of Molly's mix-ups. These are mix-ups by my mother ranked. Okay, number one, the time Molly's mother put 4 cans of Rockstar energy drink into a lamb stew for Easter instead of Guinness. Okay, I'm just dying. Like, I understand putting Guinness beer in a lamb stew, but what happened with the Rockstar energy drink? Did it taste fine, but everyone was bouncing off the walls? Okay, and 2, new this year when she put poultry seasoning into the pumpkin pie instead of cinnamon. Okay. Oh my God. I love that. That is really great. And it's easy for me to laugh at Molly, but I think I need to share with you the disaster, my family disaster, the pie fail, that incident in my family involving, I think I've got it, the cheesequake incident. Let's go. Okay. So years ago, I mean, I just want to be clear. I love to bake. And so I'm actually going to prove to you that I actually know how to bake. The better baker in my family is my daughter, Emily. There's no question. But let me show you this pie. This is a pie that either Emily or I made recently for Thanksgiving, and it's on the stove here. You can sort of see what you see to the right of the pie are cut up pieces of bread. Michael likes to make his own breadcrumbs before he stuffs not a turkey. We usually have a stuffed pumpkin. It's a really wonderful recipe that you might want to consider. A stuffed sweet pumpkin, not like a field pumpkin. Okay, so this is a very nice pie. I think it's a homemade crust. It might have been the Martha Stewart crust. And then on top, you see, I always like to have a crumble top for my pies. Okay, so I actually know how to make a pie. Okay, that's a perfect apple pie as far as I'm concerned. Years before that, though, I was kind of in the mood to make, a lot of people don't love pumpkin pie. I kind of love pumpkin pie, but my husband, Michael, is fond of a cheesecake. So I thought, what about making a pumpkin cheesecake, right? And so, yeah, pumpkin cheesecake. So we also had just purchased a, do you know spring pans? Like, a spring pan, but the metal spring pans, basically a spring pan, as you know, is something that you can like remove. Let me say this better. It looks like a pan, right? It's got a base, it's a circle, and it has a structure on the sides, like a short cylinder, but the side of the pan can just be removed so you can serve like a cheesecake. That way you don't have to serve it in its own pan. All it has is a plate under it. Well, the new kinds of spring pans, the base is made of ceramic, right? Base circle, but the side is made of silicone. And so after, the idea is that there's a pin that wraps around, and you stick a pin in to hold together the sides of the silicone. And then when you're done baking, you can remove it. Well, the deal is, it's very hot when you remove a pie from the oven. And I don't exactly know what I was thinking. I really don't. And I'm sure I had oven mitts on. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but for some reason, I think, and as I say it out loud now, it's really shameful, but I think I was holding the pan from its edges, from the silicone sides. And we now refer to that incident as the cheesequake earthquake incident, because let me explain to you my setup. I'm going to go back to the perfect apple pie picture. See this? This is a stove, right? But we have an old house. And so the stove is not in the same place the oven is. The oven is across the kitchen under a different counter. So when you remove something like this pie, when it came out of the oven, you've got to open the oven, take it, and walk 3 steps and put it on the stove to cool. No biggie. Well, it was a flippin' biggie when it came to the cheesecake. So this was the after incident. That is the pan, and you can sort of see you can see the silicone sides, and you can see that black thing on the side of where the cheesecake used to be is the pan. What happened is not only was I carrying it by the side, but the pin wasn't actually threaded through properly. And so what happened is I carried it across to the stove. It all collapsed. You can see the spatula. There is the pumpkin mixed in with the cheesecake. That was the cheesequake incident. Now, that's not as bad as setting the house on fire. I will assure you that is not the worst situation. However, I do want to say that there was an incident, speaking of frozen turkeys, when I was a child. I think I mentioned this the other day, when I think my mother might not have defrosted the turkey enough, or it wasn't cooked all the way through. I actually think it was the oven in our home. I'll explain why in a second. And we were eating, and all of us started to feel really nauseous, like immediately, like within hours of dinner. And we got very violently ill. And my father, being a doctor, decided that to not take us to the emergency room, but to give us shots of adrenaline or something to stop our vomiting or something. That whole situation kind of scarred me for Thanksgiving. But there's more. I don't want to share all the family trouble, but this is a legal show. So I do need to bring one legal thing. I'm not fully done. I got a few more things. I need to talk about the Macy's parade. I need to talk about the Detroit Lions, and then we will get to Crazy Town, my friends. Oh, yes. Don't run with scissors. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at this. What I want to share with you here is this. I'm sure you know that Macy's always has a Thanksgiving Day parade. I will blow this up in a second, but I just want to share with you. This is an article from the New York Times in the fall of 1994. We're going back 30 years now. So you may remember, some of you, that Macy's in New York filed for bankruptcy protection in 1992. And of course, as part of the bankruptcy reorganization, which took 2 years, the Federated Department Stores purchased Macy's and so on. And then as part of like these takeovers, I was not actually fully following these details. This transpired in 92. I was in law school. And by the time 94 came around, I was actually working at a law firm in New York called Weil, Gotshal and Manges, famous for, or well known as, a bankruptcy firm. And I think Macy's was one of our clients. I was not working in the bankruptcy department at that time. Anyway, so as part of the bankruptcy, these units were being sold off. And it was really important during the bankruptcy that Macy's, and I remember this because I was at the time I was in law school, while this was happening, while the bankruptcy had been filed, but before it was finalized, I was taking a bankruptcy class, from a visiting law professor, visiting from Penn at the time, who later was tenured at Harvard. And her name is Elizabeth Warren. Yes, I was in her bankruptcy class, and I learned so much, not just about bankruptcy, but about the right way to teach law. She is, and to be a good person. I mean, she's amazing. But anyway, in that class, she was talking about how, as part of Macy's bankruptcy, it was really important to spend the money, even though it was in bankruptcy, for Macy's to still have the parade, even though it was expensive, because it actually was a tradition associated with, it has value, goodwill value for the going concern. Well, ultimately, let me blow this up. Ultimately, through the reorganization, and this is on the left, I went to the Times Machine archive on the left and show you the actual article. Judge rules for Macy's parade and East River fireworks. And then on the right is the sort of transcription of that. And here's what it says. Now that Federated Department Stores has finally agreed with the New York Attorney General over how many stores it will try to sell to complete its takeover of R.H. Macy and Company. The big company still has to fulfill one more promise to the federal bankruptcy judge. Burton R. Lifland, the judge in the Macy's case, wants a guarantee, quote, etched in some form of stone, end quote, that Federated will continue Macy's traditional Thanksgiving Day parade and its 4th of July fireworks. And that says, in fact, though Macy's has been in bankruptcy proceedings for more than 2 years, it has never considered canceling the televised parade. The parade's marketing and public relations value is huge, and Macy had given every indication that the fireworks will continue too. But Judge Lifland, who has handled some of the nation's biggest bankruptcy cases, apparently does not want to be remembered as the judge who lost the parade. Okay, a little legal information there. Now, speaking of Macy's, you know I can't talk about the Macy's parade in the context of TurkeyFails without showing you what is now become the most infamous photo of a balloon fail in Macy's history. If you have kids in front of the show right now, you might want to remove them. It's fine, but it's a little obscene. Okay, here we go. This is my favorite. This is my favorite scene. Sometimes it's windy and the balloons fall over. Oh my gosh. Anyhow, Susan, I hope the parade goes on. My understanding, it's always happened, even during COVID, even in the fall of 2020 during COVID. There was a Macy's parade. It was just slimmed down. Okay, someone said this is just wrong. LOL, they'd never seen it. Okay, look again. I love it. I mean, what's wrong with that? I've been showing you turkeys blowing up. Surely I can show you this. Okay, guys. So I want to tell you my favorite thing about Thanksgiving when I was a kid growing up was the fact that the Detroit Lions played. I was not a Lions fan. My family was more into Michigan football because my parents had been Michigan grads. But every Thanksgiving, it was the Lions would play. And when I grew up in Michigan, we alternated Thanksgiving at my mom's house or my Aunt Marlene's house, and all the cousins would get together. And when it was no matter what, I remember this, but I specifically remember that very often my Uncle Harvey would show up late for Thanksgiving dinner because he was at the game. And you know how you gather early for Thanksgiving. Today's game, by the way, the Lions today, let me just advertisement. The Lions today will play at 12:30. And they're playing the Chicago Bears. I love this picture. I'm going to get to the thing about Uncle Harvey in a second, but this is huge. This is the Lions play every Thanksgiving. Usually the Detroit Lions are a losing team. The last 2 years, they've been doing amazing. But being a Lions fan, my friends, being a Lions fan is the thing I love because it's like being a fan of Charlie Brown on Thanksgiving, thinking that this just one time, Lucy isn't going to pull away the football. But the Lions would always lose every year. And even last year, when they could have been a champ, they didn't get into the finals of the Super Bowl at the end of the day because they suddenly started to lose. I don't even want to get into that. But here we go. This is your typical sign. There's a kid holding up a sign saying, "We skipped the turkey to watch the Lions gobble up a win." Well, the Lions have lost for the last 7 years. They have lost their Thanksgiving game for the last 7 years. And I'm hoping that changes. But let's go back to Uncle Harvey. So Uncle Harvey, who was married to Aunt Marlene, would always show up late if he went to the game. Now, there were sometimes he didn't have tickets to the game. And so if we were at Marlene and Harvey's house, he would sit in the den watching the football game and not come to the table until it was over. And usually it was sort of sad when we were growing up because the Lions always lost. But let me get to this part. The part I loved about the Lions game was the turducken, right? And there is a tradition where at the end of the game, the turducken is taken on the field. Now, remember, I'm a vegetarian, but I still love this tradition. So let's look at this turducken. Okay, this turducken, this is a picture of a turducken, and it started out with a newscaster. Let me just go here. We have the story that it starts out like, hold on, let me just get you this. So John Madden, who was a sportscaster, the first time he ever had a turducken, and I'll show you that picture, was 1996. And Madden said, a turducken, it's a turkey. You've got the turkey on the outside. Then you stuff the turkey with the duck. Then you stuff the duck with the chicken. Tur for turkey, duck for duck, and N for chicken. Then you just mix it all up. I've been eating it all day. You can't beat it. That's good eating. That's a turducken. It's a turkey, it's a duck, and it's a chicken, all boneless, all stuffed into each other. Okay, it's not James Joyce, but it is descriptive. So that was in 1996. Let me show you the turducken. And that's 1996. And John Madden then made it a tradition shortly after that to serve in 1997, the next year at the Lions game. And this is, then it grew to prominence back in 2021. But still, here's what the turducken looks like. Again, vegetarian here, but still, I've always loved the turducken. Now, here's a picture in 1999. And what John Madden would do is he would award the drumsticks of the turducken to the most successful players of the game. And in this one, you can see, I'm blowing this up, the 4 Lions players who were grabbing legs were quarterback Gus Frerotte, running back Greg Hill, and wide receiver Johnny Morton, as well as defensive end Robert Porcher. I don't know these players, but the reason why Frerotte got one of these legs was that he threw for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. And basically, that was a breathtaking performance. This year, the turducken had 6 legs. No one knows how that worked. That's fine. You know, it is what it is, that turducken. Okay, so Susan, you're a vegetarian. I have to show you the very best meal Michael ever made on Thanksgiving. I mean, I love the stuffed pumpkin pie, but I don't know if you have ever heard of something called a veg ducken. And this veg ducken, and I know I have a picture of this. Okay, let me just get it from my computer. I forgot to. Don't tell me my veg ducken isn't on here. Is it with the perfect pumpkin pie? It might be. Hold on. Perfect apple pie? No. Give me a sec. I swear to you, I have my veg ducken here. It would make me super sad if I don't. Okay. Let me find my veg ducken. 1 second, guys. It is here. I swear to you. Oh, there it is. Okay. I just didn't download it. Give me a moment. So what happened is we heard about this recipe. When I say I heard about a recipe for a veg ducken, and it just seemed like the best idea ever because I could indulge my good memories of Thanksgiving, and do it in a vegetarian way. And the thing about this veg ducken, it was probably the most difficult dish Michael made. Our friend Amy Gutman was in town, but I was the one who said I wanted it. And I disappeared early on in the process because I was having a panic attack, which was related to something going on with the kids. I don't want to relive that now. And my method of dealing with panic attacks at that time was just to go lie in bed and not be around people because I was a nervous wreck. I have better ways of dealing with anxiety now, but that's for another show. Okay, so let's take a look at this veg ducken. You are not going to believe this. And no, this is not a photo from a magazine. This is from our home. So look at this veg ducken. It even looks like it has actual skin on the outside. Look at the inside of this. Now, I don't remember. I think our veg ducken, instead of a turducken, had I think this was a squash on the outside. I think it was like I'm trying to remember, maybe not an acorn squash, butternut squash on the outside. Then I think it was eggplant next, and then maybe a sweet potato. It was so good. And I can tell you, actually, the recipe came from Epicurious. The maker of the recipe, the inventor, the chef was Catherine Sachs. And here was what was inside this turducken. Okay, it was the vegetables she used in this case. It looks like it was a butternut squash, then a zucchini, and then I'm not sure what was, I'm trying to see what was in the middle. You know, you look at these recipes, I'm going back and looking at this, but I think the best thing, oh, right, it was an eggplant. I'm sorry. It was butternut squash. It was eggplant. And then I think it was also a zucchini. What made this, you can see, what made this, which you don't actually see here, was this incredibly rich mushroom sauce. You think there was a sweet potato that we put in the center? That could have been. That could have been, but I swear, yeah, I think maybe that's how we did it. Maybe on the outside, it was butternut squash, and then it was an eggplant and maybe a sweet potato. Who knows? Yes, Susan Thompson, you can find the recipe by just Googling vegducken, and it was an epicurious recipe. I warn you, it's like a 10 to 12-hour recipe, but I swear to you, it was the most delicious thing I've ever eaten in my life. And of course, we had sides of sweet potatoes and cranberry. I'm sorry, we had sides of mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce. So I do want to thank you all. I do want to thank you all for spending this, spending this Thanksgiving with me, the morning, reminding you that I will be back tomorrow, because tomorrow morning I am going to share with you what Michael's cousin made for Thanksgiving. She's making this incredible vegetarian feast. I'm not even going to tell you about it. Even the description is mouthwatering, but I'm going to make sure to take a photo before anyone takes a bite of every single dish so I can share it with you. Oh, Ada says, I use orange blossom water for panic attacks. Okay, that's great. I'm actually using medication, ongoing medication for anxiety. So that just gets rid of my panic attacks. I don't really have them anymore. They were pretty severe. We'll talk about that later. Okay. Love you guys. I want to now share Crazy Town with you. Crazy Town. Here we go. I've been So is it too loud now? I'm not really saying much. So I'm just going to play for you. Again, my favorite demo. Have a great Thanksgiving.
No, go set it, because we can't wait, because it's got a safety net.